All right, let me show you guys the Fastcap Best Fence extension that I just got. So this is typically what I carry on sites. For me, I'm a trim guy and I routinely cut stuff that's 16 feet long. And one of the biggest aggravations is when I'm doing vertical cuts with crown and base. Basically having to have somebody, come help hold this while I'm cutting. It's annoying because if you don't have a setup like this, the piece is going to flop left or right and eventually just falls right off. Or you're having to press down really hard so you can keep the piece you're working on from coming up. Have a big problem with like oak handrails, do the same thing. Even with my the 62-inch setup that comes with this, I still have to have somebody help me lift this side of it up to cut. So this eliminates that, and one of the things I like about it is you can see how this is pretty much the same level, but this over here is not. So, obviously you just pump this thing up and get it straight, and to do that, I put something straight on here that I already knew was going to be straight, and you can see how this is. That's perfect. Now, you'll get a little bit of, when you get on out to the end of it, it's going to slope off a little bit, which that's just normal. But the majority of the contact surface on here is going to be flat. It's going to be flat. And I guess I'll show you how this thing connects. So as far as the joint goes, the joint seems real solid. No problems with that. I had them do the tape for me, because if you run this all the way and these don't line up exactly, you could be off. But they did that so I can come out here and measure short points at 68 to the 0 down there, and I know it's going to be 68 exactly. So the way this hooks up, they've laminated two pieces of, looks like 1/2 inch. Let's see if you can get a better view of that. It just kind of notches up inside of this track. Very much the same process as of these pieces here, same thing. And you press them down and put these pins in there, and that locks it in. So that's it's a good solid joint. My only concern about that are these things are notorious for dry rotting. They just do. I've seen other videos where they had, I guess you'd call them this threaded. It was metal. It was metal cable is what it was. I would much rather have that. This is one I use a wire and then I heat shrunk to this piece because it just I kept having the same problem with them. Now I will say that they replace these things, so I call them and it's like, hey, I need a new pin or whatever, and they ship it out for free. So they have been fantastic for taking care of their stuff. So zero complaints on any of this thing. If I could change anything on the setup right now, I would kind of like, as far as this thing, so this joint, so I'm going to show you. You see how that opens up? And I don't even know if that matters, but so there is a little play. Like, it's smooth. So it slides past it. You can hear it. A little nick. I wish there was a way to totally get all this play out and make it not move at all. I just don't see a way to do that mechanically. I have thought of taking, the way this bolt system works, sliding something in here and tighten these things up so that would keep this part tight, but there's really nothing to do with the front. And maybe tighten this up would take care of that, I'm not sure. The only reason they would say don't do this is because you have a slide stop that mounts to this. And if you have anything here, you're not gonna be able to slide past it. But I have never cut anything, repeated cuts at least, that are that long. It's always something under that. So anyway, hopefully you guys like this setup. Again, this is Fastcap Best Fence. And these are the upper hands. You can also get, if you don't like that You can also get these tripods. So these right here will replace those feet. But I'm looking for something that's kind of like low profile, so it's easy to store. And I felt like that was going to be easier to put in my van than having this. It's a little bit bulkier. So I'm going to try that and see what that does. And go from there. But very happy with this whole setup for doing trim work.